is problem 7-105 from section 7.1.7. Evaluate each of the following trig expressions without using a calculator. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to just draw these, instead of using the whole unit circle, I'm just going to kind of estimate where I'm drawing these in so it doesn't have to be so precise. So sine of 180, so I know that's going to be right over here. Alright, so in my unit circle, I'm over there. I've rode the ride halfway around. Sine is my vertical distance, my height. Okay, how far off the ground am I from there? Nothing. 0. So my sine of 180 is going to be 0. Okay. Now I have sine of 360, so that's when I have continued to ride all the way around. Here I am, getting off the ride. How high am I off of the ground? Nothing. Again, I am 0. Sine of 360 is going to be 0. How about sine of negative 90 degrees? Okay, so that's when I'm going to be starting from 0 and going backwards. Oops. Starting from 0 and ooh, that's kind of cool. Let's delete that. So we're starting from 0 and going down to here, negative 90. So here I am at the bottom of my circle, bottom of my screamer. Sine, vertical distance, up and down. How far am I from the center? Well, that's the lowest point you can be, so I'm going to be negative 1. My sine of negative 90 is negative 1, because I'm underground, that's why it's negative. I'm the farthest away from the center I can be, so that's why it's 1, and that's why it's negative 1. Okay? Next one, sine of 510. This one's not a super special coordinate on our unit circle. It's not one of the top or the sides or the bottom. So we need to probably figure out where that is. So if I know 360 is all the way around here. Okay. 510. So let's take 510 minus 360. Figure out what that's going to be. That's going to be 150 degrees. So I can use that as my reference angle. I just know it's one more time around the circle from there. Okay, so I've gone around my circle once, and now I'm going to end up at 150 degrees, approximately. So if I know this is 150, from here to here, that angle is going to be 30 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to draw that triangle kind of outside of our circle so we can fill some numbers in again. This is going to be 30. So I knew this whole thing was 150. And this is a flat line. Okay, so I know the reference angle I'm going to use here is 30 degrees. This is 60. Now I can use my 30, 60, 90 triangles to help me out. Okay, so I'm going to write in the values of what we know, what you were taught in geometry. Okay, then I'm going to change those into, right now with we want our radius to be a 1, so I'm going to divide everything by 2. Okay, so now I have good values to work with. So I want to know the sine. Sine is my height. So look, what's the height? 1/2. Okay, I just went around the circle one extra time rather than 150 degrees. I went around it a second time, but you still end up at the same spot right there. So the height of 510 is going to be 1/2. Okay, draw your circle and draw the triangle inside of it. Okay, cosine of 90 degrees. I can do that one on my same unit circle. Cosine of 90 degrees, that's up here. Top cosine now is my sideways distance. So how far am I from the center point? Right there. I'm 0 away from the center. I'm directly on top of it. So cosine of 90 is going to be 0. Okay, lots of zeros happening. I'm going to clear out my circle, my pretend circle. Last one, tangent of negative 90. So I'm starting from 0, going down to the bottom. Tangent, we learned, was sine over cosine. That's tangent. Okay, so first we need to figure out the sine and the cosine. Well, let's see. We already did the sine in part C. We said that was negative 1. Okay, so I have negative 1, which is my sine, divided by cosine. Looking at this point right here, how far am I from this point right here? Sideways. Horizontally, I am 0 spaces away from that. I'm directly on top of it, so my cosine is going to be 0. Now, if I divide by 0, that is a bad thing. Okay? I'm going to take the tangent of negative 90 If you type that into your calculator, it says don't do a calculator, but if you checked it with a calculator, it means you were in degrees, you're going to get an error because I can't divide by 0. That's undefined. So I'm going to have an undefined tangent of -90. And when we graphed those today, when we graphed the tangent, we saw that there were asymptotes, right? So that happens because there's no value at tangent of -90. So there shouldn't be anything, because that's why it's undefined, is because I'm dividing by 0. Okay? So drawing more reference angles, draw the triangles in there. Don't be afraid to draw things. It's definitely going to help you.